Alright, so this setup took forever. I know it's been a very, very long time, like super long. Easily over a month, and some of you know what's going on, some of you don't, so I figured it was way overdue to film a video, and believe me, I've tried like multiple times, but like I said, now with my parents living here, it's awkward to set all of this up in our living room and talk to you guys when they're home, and then I'm working lots lately, and there's been just so much going on that every time I felt like filming, I just couldn't, and yeah. So from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry I've been gone for over a month. I don't want to neglect this channel at all. I wish I could film more often, but I just really don't know when to do it. And so I'm trying my best to do what I can. But like I said, once I explain what's been going on, you guys are gonna like know more as to why I haven't been filming. I don't even know. I should be somewhere along like the 14th week right now, finding out what we're having, but I'm not. We had our 4th miscarriage. And again, like this is probably kind of coming towards you guys more as like, I don't care. I'm saying this kind of like with a smile on my face, but I'm not. I've just had a lot of time to kind of deal with this and deal with my feelings, and I think that's why I needed some time to myself before I made this video. I know I've said before I want to be on here and I want to show my real emotions and stuff, and believe me, I wanted to, like I have with like the first loss or a couple after that. But this one was very different for us, as far as we just thought that this was it, like many of you guys thought as well. And just the way that it happened, like being surprised by it, not planning it, how strong the lines were right away, and how they kept getting darker, and how I was feeling sick, and there was just so much pointing towards like the right direction. Honestly, I wanted to check today what my last video was that I posted. I honestly don't remember. And like I said before, like so many times, please, please, please follow me on Instagram. It's Fran in the Journey to Baby, and every space is an underscore. It's just an easier way for me to keep everybody in the loop faster with what's happening. Like it's easier for me to just write a quick post and share something about my day or what's going on, versus on here where I need to set all this up. And like I said, the living situation right now does not help, which I hope changes at some point. But I believe the last video was somewhere in where we had like the bad ultrasound, I think, our first one. And I don't even know if I shared the second one, to be honest. I have no idea what my last video was. So I guess to kind of recap is we were surprised by BFP in July, and from there on out it was kind of like all exciting and everything seemed to be going smoothly until our first ultrasound, where I should have been along like 6 weeks. But baby measured closer to 5 weeks, so there was like a week difference. So at that point, we already thought we lost baby. It was kind of like the same thing that happened the first time, where baby was measuring behind and stuff like that. So we already kind of prepared, and we were kind of dealing with this is going to be another loss, but they wanted to do another ultrasound a week later just to make sure like nothing grew or whatever. So we went in a week later. Just before our anniversary. It was somewhere in the beginning of August. I think it was like August 4th or something that we went in. And we went in preparing for bad news. Like at that point we had already figured out, okay, today I'm gonna I'm gonna stop my progesterone, I should say, sorry, and just kind of move on from this. And like all week long we like cried. Everybody was like, my parents and stuff, we all prepared for what that meant for us. So as we went in, like I said, my ultrasound place is like just a clinic where they take the pictures and they send them to my doctor. So for them to just be like regular like ultrasound techs, they're technically not allowed to say anything, and they weren't really showing anything either. Like it's dead silent in there while they take all their pictures. And the whole time I was just trying to keep myself together and not start bawling, because I was expecting bad news. Matt was trying to see whatever he could, but as a guy, like, he doesn't know what to look for and these things. So it was a very horrible silent 15 minutes. And then she said she's gonna go talk to the radiologist or whatever, the doctor on site, whichever. And so she came back in, and while we were waiting for her to come back in and tell us, okay, there's nothing grew, Matt was like, well, so I saw something and it seemed different than last time, and I saw something with beats per minute. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, what? Why would they measure beats per minute if there's nothing there? So as I'm thinking that, she actually came back in and she said, okay, so something grew. We're right around like 6 weeks. So it did grow that 1 week. I was still behind because I should have been 7 weeks from when I know I ovulated, and how early on I knew again that I was pregnant. So it wasn't a matter of just my dates were off. I knew what my dates were. It was just baby was already behind. Anyway, but something grew exactly that 1 week, and they saw a heartbeat. Like, we got to see a heartbeat, and it was crazy. Like, I'll never ever forget that moment. Like, the way that you go in there and you're like, I don't even want to be here. I know nothing's in there. Like, nothing grew. I know what they're going to tell me, to there's a baby in there and here's your heartbeat flickering away. And we got to look at it and we got to wait for our pictures, and they printed them all cute in like a little envelope and stuff, and like a hi mom, hi dad. And so I, like, on that table, before she could even show me anything, just her hearing those words, there was actually something, and your baby has a heartbeat. I started bawling. Like, I legit had my hands on my face, just crying my eyes out, which made her cry because she knew about her story and stuff from reading my, like, history. And so, yeah, she showed us the pictures, and like I said, we got printed pictures and all that stuff. And that night we spent like all night long taking like announcement pictures, which I don't know, I think we shared them like 2 days later or something. We just wanted to tell a couple more people before they had to find out over Facebook. Yeah, I know, like, some of you guys are gonna be like, you should have waited until you're 2 months with your history and stuff, and even my parents were like that. But to us, it was something like, I am who I am, and I've always been like this. I love to share my babies, whether they're like a day old, whether they're 5 days old, whether they're, I don't know, a week old. Like, it doesn't matter to me how old they ever got. It's just they were actually there and their lives mattered. And so to me, it's not a matter of don't tell anybody, because that positive pregnancy test means there is a baby, and that baby is gonna matter no matter if it's 10 years down the road or 20 years down the road. It's gonna matter to me, and I'm not gonna hide that. So that's when we shared early again. After that, sorry, with the ums and ahs, I haven't filmed in a while, and I'm trying to keep it together because I gotta go to work after this. So yeah, that weekend was crazy. That whole week was crazy. I was feeling sick, and my test kept getting darker, and it was amazing. And from there on, the weekend after was our anniversary weekend, and we went to Phantom of the Opera, and it was such an amazing like week or 2 weeks or whatever of just pure bliss is what it was. And then we had another ultrasound, and at that point we were thinking like 8 weeks. We should have been according to what I was at that last ultrasound. And we went in, and like, we've had a lot of bad experiences, but that one was, besides that first guy, the first ultrasound with this pregnancy that I talked about, but this was a very, very close second. The lady that we were dealing with was probably like 7 or 8 months pregnant. And so in a way, I was hoping that was kind of like a good sign, like somebody was pregnant, I was pregnant, like all fun times. But she was like dead silent. She wouldn't answer any questions. She was just like very stone-faced. And honestly, at that point, I was like, we made it. Like, we made it past that point. Baby's a miracle baby by surprising us, by being there a week later when we thought there was nothing there. I was kind of like naive to sit there or lay there and just think everything was okay. And then she left the room, same thing, to go talk to the radiologist or doctor on site or whatever. And Matt was saying like he could see something around 8 weeks one day, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be exactly where we are right now. And yeah, it was, I mean, it's hard for him to see because he has to sit so far away that like it's hard, and I'll explain in a second why. So she was taking forever to come back, and at that point I could feel myself being sick, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I was trying to prepare Matt for what was going to happen, because I think at that point he even had no clue because of what he thought he saw on the ultrasound. And so I was trying to keep it together and somehow prepare him for what was about to happen. And I told him, I was like, I hope you know that when 2 people walk in, it's not good news. And he was like, oh, it'll be fine. And that's exactly what happened. The door opened and she walked in, and behind her was some weird short little guy, which I don't know, like I said, radiologist or doctor on site. And they walked in and they closed the door, and compared to the first time that we went through this, like as soon as I saw 2 people, I could feel the tears building up in my eyes because I knew what was going to happen. And I could feel my heart just racing for, I was bracing myself to hear those words, even though I already knew what was going to be said. And yeah, it was like the first time that it happened, it was 2 women that walked in, and the doctor that came in or whatever, she was such a sweetheart about it, and she was like, so we couldn't find a heartbeat, I'm so sorry, like please like go to the hospital or like go see a doctor right away. And just very, very sweet and kind, and made sure that we're okay and we understood what was happening. This time around, the guy walks in and he's like, I can't even remember the exact words, obviously. I'm just like trying to paraphrase. And he just said something along the lines of, so, we couldn't find a heartbeat, and there obviously was one last week, but it was already like very weak at that point. So this is not a viable pregnancy. You might as well stop your progesterone because, you're like miscarrying. Well, have a great day, and walks out. And I could tell like Matt was in like such, like Matt's the kind of person that if you say something that rude, he's gonna like get angry. And my mind was so set on, like I just started laughing at him, because like not at Matt, at the doctor or whatever, because I'm like, how cold do you have to be to walk in a room where there's a couple waiting to hear an answer and you treat it like it's a normal thing? On my piece of paper it says we have recurrent like losses. How do you walk into a room going like, yeah, so that's it, like whatever, not a big deal, all good, and have a great day, and walks out. So Matt was like, you could tell he was lost for words because his mind was racing just like mine. And I was trying to look at him but not look right in his eyes because I would have broke down. And even like the radiologist, like the ultrasound tech was very, very rude at that point, because she was just like, okay, well, that's all then, you guys take care, and then walks out. So it was probably one of the worst moments I've ever like had to deal with. I mean, like I said, I knew what to prepare myself for, but in a way you didn't expect it to happen, just because of how this pregnancy went and how we got surprised positively after that scare the first time. So we thought we were in the clear, but obviously not. So we went home, and at that point I was a mess. I was crying. I literally I threw everything baby related into the basin, down the stairs. I didn't care if it smashed. I didn't care what happened to it. I didn't want to see a thing. I threw diapers down the stairs. I threw onesies and bags of stuff that we bought the last few weeks down the stairs. It was, I think Matt was really concerned at that point, because I guess at first when we got home I didn't do a thing. I just sat there silently crying, and I was just replaying all these things in my mind of why we have to go through all of this, and why it's always us, and why we don't get to have a child, and why we don't get to experience a full pregnancy, and why we've had to lose 4 babies, and all these things were popping in my mind, and I just lost it. In a way, I'm not proud of that, because I'm usually one person to just like kind of cry and be upset or lay in bed and bawl my eyes out. I don't think I've ever been to the point where I just didn't care what things cost, or just went rogue. And that's exactly what happened. It was probably like a good half hour of me just smashing things and just being upset. I just didn't want to look at anything anymore. I just wanted it all to be over with. And luckily that was like a Friday. I think that was like August 18th or something. So we kind of had the weekend together to figure things out and talk things over and cry together and be mad together and go through all of it. And we still are. I mean, this has been our 4th loss, and definitely one of the hardest. We're kind of in a weird space of we're closer, but we've also gotten further apart as far as like, I don't know, there's just small things that like we know each other a little bit faster, like Matt and I am talking about. But in another way, it's like we apologize faster now too, and we want to be back to normal faster. I think we just kind of learned a lesson as far as how short life is. And so that same day I stopped my progesterone, and I was just kind of waiting for the bleeding to start. I'm not going to go into too crazy detail in this video, because I'll make another TMI video about my miscarriage in more detail. Let's just say it was the worst one that I've had yet. It was horror. But like I said, I want this to be just an informal video in general of what happened. I'll make a TMI video, probably the next one that I upload. That way, if anybody has any questions or is unfortunately going through the same thing, they can watch that video. But if you're not one for TMI stuff, then don't watch. So yeah, it was horrendous. It was really bad. And during that week, Matt and I talked a lot, obviously, and we both come to the conclusion that we're taking a break. And this is not the kind of break that we took before, when we take a month off. This is legit. I'm not taking any medication. So I did see my doctor yesterday, which is kind of why I decided to make this video now, to kind of be able to tell the whole story. So since my bleeding stopped, there has been lots and lots going on, which has been kind of unexplainable to me, because I don't remember that from the first big loss that we had. And so I went for lots of blood work, and I did go for an ultrasound again just to make sure everything was out, because at this point I was really concerned about an infection and leftover tissue. And yesterday I got the all clear. Everything's good. Everything's out. My HCG was back to 0. She did take some swab tests just to make sure I didn't have any other infections going on. But to her, she said everything looked good. What else? Yeah, I guess that was kind of like the cutoff point to all of this. So during that whole like 3-4 weeks that we've had now since we found out that this was going to be another miscarriage, like I said, we have decided to stop trying. And we don't know if this is going to be a 6-month break. We don't know if this is going to be a year break. We don't know if it's going to be a 10-year break. But as of right now, we're done trying. And I can say this and I can't say that I don't feel a thing, but I can say it in a way that I've talked it over so many times, and we've thought about this for so long now, and this is the conclusion that we've came to. I'm literally turning 25 in 2 weeks. Matt's turning 30 in March. And the last 4 years now, I don't want to say wasted. That is a horrible word, but I can't think of anything else. I hope you kind of get the idea. What I'm trying to say is the last 4 years have been hell for us. And those of you that have been with us from the beginning know what it's been like. And even just recently, there's so many people that, don't get me wrong, I'm so happy for all of you that finally got your BFP and that things seem to be going smoothly, especially like a couple of people that were due around the same time as me. But it's just very hard to be part of that right now, because there is literally like one of the closer people that I've talked to, there's nobody that hasn't had a baby or isn't pregnant right now. And some are already on to baby number 2. And like I literally made a video similar to this last year around this time when we said we wanted to take a break. Because it's just emotionally draining to be here in 4 years and to make these videos and to get to know people, and most people have what you want and got through this, and you're still here and you have nothing. And that is something very, very hard to deal with. And what we come to realize is that yes, we are still young, but obviously with what's going on with us, there's a bigger problem. Otherwise we wouldn't keep losing this many babies. We don't have the funds to do IVF or things like that. So if there is a bigger problem that would require IVF, we would never be able to have kids anyway. And to be honest, we're just sick of it. And I'm saying this like laughing, but that's just how it is. And I think some of you might be able to relate, but some of you only know part of what it is like because you conceived a little faster or whatever. At some point you did get your rainbow baby, which we have not. So for us right now, life is going to be about us. We have to fix our relationship. We have to build on our relationship. We have to make sure that we still have a good marriage going on, and we want to be able to go on dates. And like, we want to be able to have money to go for dinner, to go play mini golf, to go to the movies. Like, I don't remember the last time I've been to the movies, because you don't want to waste that money because you're always concerned about what if we get pregnant, like we need that money. I want to buy this, I need this, like I want to stock up on this, I need more pregnancy tests. Like, it's such a, like, we don't have a lot of money as it is. So for us, like when we look back at all the money that we have wasted on, I don't know, just on these babies that we never get to take home. I mean, I'm forever grateful that I can get pregnant, but I'm just as heartbroken that I keep losing all of them. And yes, we at some point we're gonna want to try all these tests, like genetics testing and stuff, to see what the problem is, but that's not gonna be anytime soon. We talked about wanting to take dance lessons. Like, we just want to enjoy each other for a little while and actually look back at our life and don't waste so many years being sad and miserable and upset. And like, it shouldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has problems. Everybody has problems getting pregnant. Some people have problems losing babies. Some have a little bit of both. But everybody catches a break at some point, and we have not had that break. And so we need to take that break for ourselves, as far as like distancing ourselves from us trying. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be part of you guys. That doesn't mean this channel is going to be any less interesting. I'm sure I'll find some ways to still be a part of everything and still check in on everybody, because I want to be. I mean, I'd like to say that I'm somewhat part of this community. Even though we haven't achieved our goal, ours does not seem to be a happy ending. It's still a story that needs to be told for those few of us out there that won't get a happy ending. And yes, there's days like yesterday where, yeah, you walk out of the doctor's office without a plan, without, what are you going to do? How are we going to get pregnant? How are we going to keep this? But in a way, it was so relaxing to not have to think about ovulation and AF and all these things. It was so nice to just be able to breathe, and that's something we haven't done in so long. And it is such a nice change to be able to just enjoy each other and make plans. And honestly, I don't remember the last time I actually celebrated a birthday. Not just because of this, like obviously main thing, but it, like, yes, we're actually making plans for my birthday. We're actually gonna want to go out for dinner. We're gonna, things that we haven't done in so long, because we just didn't want to waste the time and effort and the money mostly. You know what I mean? Like, there were so many things that we would have liked to do, but we never did because we always wanted to save that money. And it is such a nice change to be able to, I'm not saying we're rich by any means, like I can go on a freaking cruise if I wanted to. I would like to, but no, that's not what I mean. But the $20 we would have spent on pregnancy tests that month, we can actually now spend and go mini golfing or something like movies or anything. And that is so nice. It is so nice to be able to get out of the house and just be married and in love and build a marriage that will last forever. And that is the reason why I have a smile on my face, is because there is a plan, there's something else to look forward to, there's something that will take our mind off of it for a little while. And like I said, in a few months we might be back on and say, okay, now we want to do testing, now we want to know what's going on, we're over it. Like, I don't know. No one knows. It might not be for another 5 years, it might not be for another 10 years, but I'm not gonna say we're done forever. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna want some answers to finalize, like, we can't have children sort of thing before we completely give up. But this will be a nice, long, relaxing break. And I hope that you guys will be a part of it no matter what. And I know I'm gonna lose some of you guys because the reason you subscribed was to see us get to where we want it to go. But things have changed a little bit. And as of right now, it's a positive change, I think. Or we both think. So, I've talked so much now, I'm gonna be sore by the time I get to work, which is where I'm gonna have to go soon. So I know I'm gonna talk, like, I'm gonna post another video soon kind of going into more detail of the miscarriage, because I know there's gonna be lots of women out there that want to know that part. I know it was something a little comforting for me to know what to expect with my first one. So I know I did one for my first one and I plan to do it again for this one, so that'll probably be my next video. I also kind of want to share a little bit of the time, like our anniversary and stuff, like some pictures and what we did, because that was kind of like a good time in there. And yeah, whenever there's something more exciting or something that I want to share, or if there's something that you guys want to see, I know some of you have said you wanted to see some like cooking videos, which I'm trying to figure out how to do, or there's any other things that you'd like me to post or kind of look into or think about, please let me know. Send me a message, comment below. And yeah, I just hope you guys stick around. I still want to know how you guys are all doing and how you've been. If you want to leave me a comment and update me on what you've been doing for the past like month and a half, 2 months, I'd love to read those and respond. So yeah, I gotta get to work, but I'll see you guys really soon. And thank you guys so much for your support. I already know how many sweet messages I'm gonna get. For those of you that didn't know what was going on. And even for those of you that are on Instagram and are still watching this, thank you guys for being around. The love you guys have shown me over the last month, or basically since I started this channel, is just something that I'm very, very lucky to have and that I so appreciate. I would not be where I am today, and I would not be in this state of mind or be able to deal with these things as well as I am now without any of you. And I'm not just saying that because it's the thing to say. I actually mean that from the bottom of my heart. I have found so many like girlfriends on here that know exactly what I'm going through, that know exactly how it feels, that pick me back up and make me believe in rainbows. It's something that I cherish so much and that I hope I'm never going to lose, and that's exactly why I want to keep in touch with all of you and still maintain this channel. Like I said, it won't be TTC related for a long time, but it could be informative videos about what we've been through, what we tried, what worked, what didn't work, stuff like that. I still want to be a part of it, and I hope you guys will be too. So I gotta get to work, but I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you guys so much. Bye!